on Steam, and let's go ahead and jump right in. So first of all, before we start this review, I just want to say Happy New Year. This is my first video of the new year that I'm recording. I don't know if it's the first one that's going to come out, but it is the first one that I'm recording for the new year, so I just wanted to say Happy New Year's to you guys. And let's go ahead and get straight into the review. As you can imagine, this game is basically just an online formatted version of coloring, which is actually something that I've been looking for quite a while because I used to love coloring in coloring books as a kid, and honestly I really miss doing it, but I don't really have the time to try to get out all the supplies and color myself IRL. So I've honestly been looking for a good online coloring game for quite some time, but they were either all too much money or they didn't look like they'd actually be that much fun. And then I stumbled across Coloring Game, which is actually completely free. It has free DLCs, I think, as well to add on to your coloring experience, and it looks like there might even be a sequel to Coloring Game with Coloring Game 2. I don't think that one is free, but I have to do more checks into that in the future because I just found this game. And I've colored the first 4 pictures. I colored the first 2 off camera just to get a feel for the game, and then I colored these next 2 that you guys are going to be seeing on camera so that I can get some footage for you guys to watch the gameplay of. The pictures themselves are actually quite simple. I really enjoy coloring them because they're quite aesthetically pleasing, and also they're just really easy to color. Like, all you have to do is select the color that you want, and then it's basically just a color by number. So there are certain squares with certain numbers, and then all you have to do is fill in the number with the correct color. And they make it really easy for you by highlighting the color that you're clicked on and which squares are what. You can also zoom in and scroll around so you can get a better look at everything, and honestly I really like that feature because a lot of the coloring games that I looked at before didn't actually have that feature where you could look at it in a more zoomed in way and then zoom in and out periodically. It was either like you were at a fixed point, or you could zoom in but then you couldn't really zoom out easily, or it was like laggy. So I really do appreciate that. And then, like I said, I also appreciate that it's color by number. I know some people like freehanding coloring, but I've always liked the structure of color by numbers a little bit more. There's something just more satisfying about knowing that you're coloring it in the way it's supposed to be colored in. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's like a personal thing or not, but it's just super satisfying to me for some reason, and I really love that. And so I love that this game also has that feature. However, I do think it would have been nice if there would have been a section of the game where you could have had like a freehand coloring section, because I do recognize that some people don't really like doing color by numbers, and they probably wouldn't want the whole game to be color by numbers. So I do think that an added on section where you can freehand stuff might be nice. However, that might be in one of the DLCs. I don't really know. I haven't gotten any of the DLCs yet. I just played the base game to see if it was worthwhile. So I would have to check out the DLCs and come back to you guys later with the information on that. As with any kind of coloring though, you may notice that you start to have some like wrist cramps if you color for too long, because I did notice that when I colored several pictures in a row, I did have some wrist problems, like with holding my mouse and like moving it around a ton. But I think that mostly comes from what I like to call gamer arthritis, and it comes from like mostly playing, I think, too many different games and like doing too much work on my computer and having to use my mouse way too much. So if you guys don't have problems with that sort of thing, then it'll probably be fine for you. But I just did want to say that if you're using coloring to like relax and your hand starts to cramp, you probably need to take a break from it, because it will cause your hand to get pretty crampy, and I don't want you guys to like sprain it before the next day, because that wouldn't be very relaxing, which is the point of coloring. Another feature of this game is that it automatically saves, so if you are in the middle of coloring a coloring page in the coloring game and you have to take a little break to go do something else, like get a snack or something, then you can easily leave without fear that your partially done picture will be ruined. And honestly, I really like that feature because as a person that does take a lot of breaks while gaming, I really like the idea that I can just leave and not have to worry about my progress being erased. Quick pop in here from Editor Rach. I did decide to go ahead and look at the DLCs just out of curiosity so I could include it in this review. And what when I looked on Steam, I saw that there is a coloring game bundle, and it looks like the DLCs that are included in that bundle do cost money. So I do think the base game is free, but it looks like the expansion packs are what cost you the money. It is kind of weird because they are tagged under free to play, but yet they have a price on them. So that is a little odd. I think that's why I thought they were free to begin with, but it looks like the base game is the only free part of coloring game. While I was here, I decided to check and see if there was a sequel as well, and it does look like there are several sequels to coloring game, and it looks like they also have their own set of DLCs, which are cheaper than the original game's DLCs, which is kind of interesting. It does look like the original game does have 1 or 2 free games, but I did want to just take a quick note that these sequels also have DLCs as well, and it does look like these sequels have different art styles perhaps. I'm not really sure. I haven't really looked into it that much, but if you guys want to see a review of the coloring game sequels, do let me know in the comments down below, because it actually does look pretty interesting, and I would be curious to see the changes throughout all of them. And yeah, they are free though, so if you guys are worried about running out of coloring games, things to color in the first coloring game, there are several other versions of the game, as well as, like I said, the coloring game studio game, which I don't know what that is, but it is $25 US, so it's kind of expensive. And yeah, let's go ahead and go back to the regular voiceover. One thing that I will say as a complaint about these images is some of them are pretty detailed and also pretty large as well. So if you do have to zoom in so that you can see the pixels a little bit better, especially if you have a harder time seeing, then it will take you almost double the time having to zoom in and out and look around for all of the pixels you need to color in, which is a little bit annoying, especially since this game is kind of something you kind of want to play for a limited amount of time to just kind of chill and maybe get a serotonin boost from completing an image. I do kind of wish there was like a mini game sort of version of it within the game where you could just do a really small picture just to get like a really quick serotonin boost, because I do feel like some of these really bigger, more complex images do take a lot of time, and maybe there should have been some shorter and smaller ones mixed in there too. But again, that's just a personal preference thing. Before we get into the final portion of the review, I just wanted to give you guys a quick thank you for being in this far in the video. I'd remind you guys, if you haven't already, to leave a like and subscribe, as that really does help support the channel. And let's go ahead and get into my final thoughts. My total rating is 4 out of 5 for this game. I do think I needed to ding it down 1 star from the 5 out of 5 I was going to give it based off of the gameplay, after seeing how they did the DLCs for the game. Before, when I saw that the DLCs were marked as free to play, I thought, well, this is like a small game, sure, but it does have quite a few DLCs and they look to all be free, so that seemed to kind of balance it out in my opinion. But after seeing that you have to pay for the expansions, it just isn't my vibe, and personally I would have preferred if they would have been free, obviously. But I do suggest that you guys get this game if you are looking for a cute, fun, free, relaxing game to play right before bed, just to kind of wind down. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this short little review, and if you guys have any games that you want me to review in the future, do comment them down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!